Hello, my name is Tom. Welcome to the first video devlog of Tavern. Tavern's a game you see in front of you. It's a game I've been working on in my spare time for the last 9 months or so. As you can see, it's still pretty unfinished and placeholdery, but there's a lot of work to do, and hopefully some of that work will be shown off in these videos. I wanted to start live streaming some of the development of Tavern, but the internet at my house is not good enough to stream on Twitch. So I'm going to settle for making these videos and uploading them to YouTube. So yeah, Tavern's a game I've been making in JavaScript using HTML, WebGL, and a framework called threejs to help me with some of the WebGL stuff. So this is threejs. You can find out more about it at threejs.org. My wife Clara's been helping too. She's been doing some of the artwork. She made these trees, made the characters, some of the other artwork, some of the more placeholder artwork. It's been done by me. So Tavern is a game, or will be a game, where you play as a would-be innkeeper who needs to build, maintain, and run his inn on the side of a road between two towns. So I'll just give you a quick demo of a little bit of gameplay, and then we'll get into some development. So you can cut down trees. Obviously, that's lacking in animation, but you can walk around cutting down trees, harvesting some wood, and then with that wood you can build things. So we'll build a wall, I guess. Here's a wall, a wooden wall. We could also build a floor. Run out of wood. Let's get some more. And obviously the intention is that you build some kind of shelter and then accommodate people who are making their way along their weary way along the road at the bottom of the level. Build some more walls. So I think next let's get into some development. We're going to be using Sublime Text to edit code, to edit the JavaScript. We use GIMP to edit some images, and we'll use Chrome to actually play the game because it's built in HTML and JavaScript. It will run in a browser. So what I wanted to do today is have a way of displaying dialogue or text in the game. So these dudes walking back and forth on the road here eventually are going to be your potential guests, and for them to be able to come and stay in your inn or your hotel, they're going to need to come and talk to you. So we're going to need a way to display dialogue on the screen. The game's somewhat inspired by sort of Super Nintendo style, sort of 16-bit games, like for example Final Fantasy or Harvest Moon, Link to the Past, things like that. So what I'd like to do is do some sort of dialogue, displaying of dialogue in that kind of style. So let's have a look at A Link to the Past. Yeah, like this. So yeah, I guess whenever whenever dialogue needs to be rendered on the screen in The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, these sort of dialogue panes pop up, and I've created a couple of fonts in the game. We've got this small font that you can see on the scores and on the labels on the menus, which is fairly small and doesn't use up too much real estate. But then I've got a bigger font that I've created that I want to use for the dialogue. Yeah. So let's just go ahead and get that rendered in the game. What we're going to need is some kind of a new class, I think. We'll call it dialog pane. Save it in the JS folder. And then in our main game loop, let's create one. We'll need to load that new JS file in our HTML page. So I'm not really using any fancy JavaScript framework to manage the JavaScript. I'm just sort of doing it old school for now. There we go, load the file. And it's not going to do anything for now, but well, let's just console log just to make sure something's happening. And then if I reload the page in Chrome, yeah, we can see here in the console on the right, dialog pane created, so let's work in. Now, the game is rendered in two sort of layers. There's the gameplay canvas, which is a 3D WebGL canvas. And then on top of that, we've got the HUD, which is a 2D HTML5 canvas with just images rendered on it. I've turned off image smoothing so that we get this nice, like, sort of pixely 16-bit-y images, and then we're drawing in a sort of small, I think 256 by something also small buffer, and then resizing that and scaling it across the size of the screen to get this sort of blown up pixely look. And what we want to do for our dialogue that we're about to add, we want to render it to the 2D HUD, not the 3D gameplay pane. So let's have a look at how we do that for other things. So in the main game loop, I'm calling these render to HUD functions on whatever objects can be rendered to the HUD. And we want to do the same for our dialog pane. So first, let's have a look at what that function looks like in a different class. So this currencies class, it renders the scores in the top right here, or the sort of item counts, currencies. That has a render to HUD function. So we're just going to copy and paste that into our dialog pane class. And that takes a context, which is the context of the 2D canvas buffer that we're rendering to, a tick, which is just a game tick. I'm not sure we're going to need that right now. And then a font renderer, which is a class for rendering these fonts that I showed you earlier. And we're going to use that to render the dialogue. So let's console log in here to make sure that this is getting called. And then let's call it from the main game loop. There we go, dialog pane is rendering. It's getting called a lot once the HUD starts getting rendered. That's cool, that's working. I guess the dialog pane is going to need some text to render, so let's put in some placeholder text for now. In fact, let's have an array of strings. The array, for each entry in the array will be a line of text. So if we want 3 lines of text on the screen, then we'll have 3 entries in the array. Okay. Let's just loop over that array and just log it to the console just to test it out. So for each element in text. Oops. Render that text. How's that working? Yep, there we go. Lots and lots of console logs. Let's close this before it kills my computer. Right. So let's start by using the font renderer to actually render real text to the screen. So font renderer, let's find an example of rendering using the font renderer in the currencies code. So font renderer render text. So we pass in the context, which is what we're rendering to, the text we want to render. Let's get rid of the for loop for now, just so we can just render one line of text. Render the first line. And then an X and a Y, where like the 2D coordinates are where we want to render the text. So let's just hard code it for now. I think a little bit from the left edge of the screen, 8 pixels from the left edge of the screen, and then 100 will be about halfway down. Let's take a look at that. I think we need to refresh the page. Hard refresh. That was weird. Okay. Weird. We've only got one letter there, and it's the letter S. It's not quite what I expected. I'll tell you what it is. We're passing in the small HUD font, which is the small one that we're using for the scores and the menu and stuff, and that's only got capital letters, so it's only rendering the S there. What we want to use is the big font. So just correct our copy and paste error here. Refresh the page, and there we go. We got some test text, literally rendered on top of the gameplay. It's pretty good. Let's try and add all of the lines of text. So reinstate that for loop and take a look. And I think what's going to happen, yeah, all of the text is rendering on top of itself. What a mess. But I think we can fix that pretty easily. So we know the text height is, we're going to need to increment a variable for where we're going to render the text. So font Y, we'll start at 100 again, and then we can just, so we know that the font is about 12 pixels high, so let's just increment it by 12 pixels every time. Yeah, looks pretty good. 3 lines of text now. Some test text, another line of text, and a third line of text. There's a weird typo there. All right, so this is a bit hacky. Let's make this a variable. So for the font renderer, we can ask it how wide the text is, but we can't ask it how high the text is. So let's add that. Should be pretty easy because we pass in the height of the text, height of the font when we create it. So we'll just make that a number rather than a parameter, as well as a parameter. So we can just do this now. Font renderer dot chart. And then nothing should have changed, but nothing should have gone wrong either. So yeah, looks good. And while we're at it, let's make this a variable as well. Dialog margin. Is that what I want to do? No more hard-coded values, well, except for here. Okay. Yep, still working. Okay, so now what we want is a nice frame to go around the text. If we look back at A Link to the Past, and maybe some other games, Harvest Moon, what they all have is these like nice sort of panes that surround the text, border it. And I guess there's two ways we can do this. We could either just have one big image that we render behind the text, which would work pretty nicely, but we might want to scale the size of this box or reuse it in other places. So I think what we're going to do is sort of dynamically resize, make this box so we can dynamically resize it. And the way to do that is to cut up, create an image with, actually create 8 images that we can tile together to form this frame. So we'll have a top left image, we'll have a top image that will tile all the way across the top of the box, and then we'll have a top right image, and then likewise we'll have left and right images that will tile downwards, and then we'll do the same at the bottom as we did with the top. So I think the best thing to do is to get started is to just create some placeholder imagery. So I'm going to use GIMP for this because I don't know, it's the graphics tool I'm most familiar with for creating pixel art. So we'll need 3 images across the top by like 3 downwards, like the top left, the left, and the bottom left, and then the top left, the top, and the top right. And I think we're going to make them, for now, we'll make them 8 by 8 pixels each. So that's 3 times 8, which is 24. So we'll make an image 24 by 24. Okay. Yeah. Zoom in. How do I zoom in? There we go. And we want see if we can put a grid on top of the view show grid, and maybe we need to configure it 8 by 8 pixels. Cool. Okay. And we want most of the image to be transparent. The background of the image to be transparent. So create a new layer. Delete the old layer. Then we've got transparency. And let's just draw in like a simple black and white frame for now. Whoops. Use the eraser. I do all my pixel art using this touchpad on my Mac. It works. I know other people use the mouse, or they use even a drawing tablet for pixel art, but this is just easier. So we've got a top left image, a top image, and a top right image. This is the left one. Bottom left. Actually, let's make it a little bit more interesting. Let's just put a bit of a corner on them. Yeah. Not quite right. There we go. Can we fill in the rest? Nice. I wonder if we should do something just to make sure that the tiling's working when we get it in game. Some stripes maybe. Yeah, okay. Alright, now we need to slice this up. I'm just going to do it by hand. I'll save them out. Just create a new folder. Oh, we don't want to save, we want to export. Good old GIMP, always confusing. The top one, the top right, the left. The right, the bottom left, oh no, I've done this wrong, haven't I? I need to actually create them in different, I've just been saving the same file over and over again, sorry. Try and do this quickly. Actually, we can just export this one twice, on the left and the right. In the future, maybe they'll be different, but for now, they're the same. Bottom left, nearly done. Do this as the bottom. One more, the bottom right. Okay, so we should have 8 images in our dialog folder in the images. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, let's try and draw one of the images. So how do we load an image again? Like this. So this is a bit hacky in that I should probably have some kind of image manager or something to manage the loading all the images, because I should probably wait until they're loaded properly before we render them, but that is a problem for another day. Let's render that top image to the screen. How do we do that? Draw image. Context.draw image. So we need to pass in the image to render, and I think just an X and a Y is enough. Panel Y, let's do that 100 as well. So the X is the margin, the Y It's 100. Is that going to work? Yeah, I think it did, but we can't see it because the text is rendered on top of it. Let's move the text along. Oh, we're rendering the wrong thing. We should be rendering the top left one first. Let's move the font down a bit as well. Alright, nice. We got the first corner of our box right there, sort of framing the text. And now I think we'll just draw the top one right across the screen. Yeah. So we'll need a for loop to do that. Let's set a variable for how far along the x-axis we are. We'll start it at where we started the font motion. Let's just draw one for now, and then we'll add a for loop to draw more. Oops. And 21. Top image. Yay! Alright, let's take it further. Let's use this for x is less than width. Top image dot width. Now this could be dangerous. If the top image hasn't loaded, I think the width will be 0. So we'll just and then the loop we'll just get an infinite loop. So we'll just check if top image dot width is more than 0. I mean, this could also happen if there was some problem loading the image or if it was corrupt or something. So we'll just protect ourselves from an infinite loop now. If it's not there, we just won't draw it at all, and it'll look weird. Alright, nice. So it's going right across the page. Probably gone a bit too far. We want to go width minus, let's load the top right image. Top right image, go width, and the margin as well. Whoops. Not expected token semicolon. Oh yes. Cool. And then let's draw the top right image in the right place. Same as this. Go copy and paste. Alright, that looks pretty good. We've got a nice top part of our dialog box frame thing. I think next we'll try and put the bottom of it on before we put the side pieces. So it occurs to me that this this piece of code, we can reuse it almost completely to draw the bottom images. So let's make a function to do it. Render horizontal bar. And we'll take the context, the starting y, yeah, that margin. What else? The images. Top, the left image, middle image, right image. This function. So we just copy that to here. Left image. Start y. That's the middle image. Left image. Right. Middle. Middle. Right. Right. Okay, so we've got a function we can call. Hopefully, if we call that instead of this code, let's just comment it out for now so we don't completely lose it if it goes wrong. Render horizontal bar, pass in the context, the margin, starting y, and the images. Top left image, top image, top right image. Yeah. Right, fingers crossed. Width is not defined. Okay. Yeah, let's pass that in as the second parameter. There's a lot of parameters here, but I can't think of another way of doing it. Panel Y. Okay. We'll just call this one panel Y. Should be fine. Oh, we've got something wrong because it's appeared at the top of the screen. And it's not gone far enough either. Why is that? I don't know. That is strange. I'll comment this in seconds. Yes, we've got one. The old code puts it in the right place, the new code puts it weirdly at the top of the screen. Something is too large. The dialog margin is too. Yeah, we've got parameters the wrong way around. This is the problem with methods with a lot of parameters. It's hard to get them in the right place. Right, let's get rid of the other one just in case. Yeah, that worked. Okay. So let's try and render another one. We'll need the new images. Maybe we should do these as some kind of array. Oh, no, it's too much. Let's not over abstract things before we need to. So let's do a find and replace. Yeah. Replace top with bottom. And then just added, I don't know, 64 pixels. Change these to the bottom ones. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Now we just need to render the bars down the left and right hand side. So let's get them loaded. Left and right, left, and then right. Cool. So let's just try and draw one for now. Left image, yeah, panel Y plus top left image dot height. Yeah, I should draw the left one left bar just below the top left corner. Yep, there it is. That's looking pretty good. I like it already. Even with this placeholder white stripy thing, it looks pretty cool. Feels like an old Apple Mac game where everything was black and white, and they just had those black and white screens. Okay, we'll need a for loop then. And I think, how many bars will we need to render? So we're 8 in already. The text is going to be 12 times 20, 36 high. So we want to be about 40 high around the text, plus the top and the bottom, which is 56 pixels. But wait, I just need to render 40 divided by 8, 5 rows of these tiles. For alright, let's do a regular for loop here. So we'll do the starting point plus I times left image dot height. Actually, let's just increment that panel Y each time. Plus equals top left image dot height. And we'll just use panel Y. That way the bottom bar should be in the right place as well. Yeah, so we'll increment this variable once each loop by the height of left image. Cool. And everything should just join up. Ah, didn't. We're one out, I guess. Oh yeah, okay, we didn't need to do this again. Yeah. Yeah, I like it. It's all joined up. Now we just need to do the one on the right. Pretty easy. We'll just change the image. And where do we draw it? Width minus the dialog margin plus the right image dot width. Yep. All right. That's looking pretty good. Obviously, like we want to work on some better graphics. Actually, let's space the text out a bit. I don't know if you can see, but there's no gap between the text at all, and it could probably be centered vertically a little bit better. So starting line starting y can be where we start the whole box. Starting y plus the top image plus, let's just fudge this and put in a number 4. And then let's put 1 pixel between the rows of text. Too far this time, too far down. That's 2. Alright, that's pretty good. I wonder if the text could be spaced out even more. What does it look like in Zelda? Very spaced out. And it's probably more readable that way. Yeah, okay, let's go with, on the spacing, let's go with font renderer.char height divided by 2. So like half the length of the height of the text again. Yep, and then we just need to make our box bigger. I like it though. Yeah. It's too much? It doesn't have to be like Zelda. It's not too much, it'll be fine. Okay. How many more of these do we want? Let's just try 7. That was a good guess. And then let's move it down again just to get it centered. Yeah, okay, this is good. Wonderful. Let's stop playing with it. It's good enough for now. We can tune it some more when we work out what the graphics are going to look like when we fix this placeholder stuff. Maybe let's just move it to the bottom of the screen though. I think usually we're going to want it near the bottom of the screen, just like in Link to the Past and in Harvest Moon as well. I think we just need to move this down. So starting y needs to be, let's work it out. Top left image dot height, or height of the whole image minus the top left image's height plus the left image's height times 7. Let's make that a variable. Don't know what to call it. Let's just call it number of rows. Plus the top right image dot height. How's that look? There we go, right at the bottom of the screen. I really hope the way I've set up OBS to record this means that you can see all of the screen, otherwise you won't be able to see. I'm sure you can. Anyway, I think I'm going to leave it there for now. This is about as much as I wanted to get done. I hope you've enjoyed watching it. I'll be making more of these videos if you do. Maybe leave me some comments, or if you want to keep up with the development, you can. I've started a tigsource devlog on the tigsource forum. You can probably find the game by searching Google. Yeah, here we go. But I'll put a link in the YouTube description. But yeah, there's a devlog I've started here. You can follow me on Twitter on twitter.com/heychinaski. I'll put a link to that as well. I'll be tweeting about Tavern, but I also tweet about sort of boring life stuff and game dev in general. So yeah, feel free to follow me there. Yeah, like I said, hope you've enjoyed the stream, the video, and I guess I'll see you next time.